Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Project Baraka podcast. I'm joined here by Muftiya Nasima of the Quran Institute, and Sister Katie is a convert, qualified teacher, and mother of two, mashallah. Sister Katie, as a convert, how do you think Western beauty standards have affected you in your journey?
It's an interesting one, especially because I was a non-Muslim for 22 years, and then when I was 22, I became Muslim. So I kind of had two different kind of takes on it, and my perspectives changed. I think growing up, definitely, I mean, in some ways, I was like just outside of the social media kind of generation, yeah. It like started as I was a teenager, but nothing like it is now. So that would have contributed. I think your looks, as I was growing up, were always put as an importance, and almost if you look good, then your self-worth is more. And it's strange to think of that now. I definitely put a lot more kind of importance in the way I look and the way I dress when I was younger, based on what I saw around me, and also how others kind of put that on you. If you look nice, oh, you look so pretty today, or oh, that's a lovely dress. You're always complimented on those things, not like, oh, you're such a nice person. So I think that kind of shapes how you look at things. And then when I became Muslim when I was 22, I kind of had to, number one, the way I dressed drastically changed, which was like something to get my head around, because if the way I look is important, but I'm now not wearing what my peers around, all my friends and my family are wearing, that was a hard thing that actually probably stopped me for a while. That was a real thing that stopped me from becoming Muslim for a long time, which is crazy to think, because what an insignificant thing in the grand scheme of things.
It's insignificant, but it was important to you at the time.
It's crazy how that kind of shaped, and even when you're growing up in the magazines, everywhere you look, they're talking, especially women, how they look and they've put on weight or they've lost loads of weight, and exercise tapes. I remember my mum having Davina McCall's DVD on how to, and it was just such an important thing. So yeah, then when I became Muslim, that stopped me from actually making that leap for a long time, I think. And as well, how other people around me, my friends and my family, I'm now visibly different. And so that's difficult for them maybe to get their head around. And I'm not going to, be sunbathing with them on holiday anymore, and just things like that. So yeah, it had the way that I thought I should look stopped me from becoming Muslim for probably a longer time than I even realised. But yeah, it's funny, and they trends change all the time, don't they? So what was now, there's a bigger trend of being bigger and celebrating that, whereas that was never a thing when I was younger. And it's just crazy how so much importance can be put into the way you look, but yet how you look changes as you grow up anyway.
Even if you look at makeup and things, I've noticed, because you mentioned about social media, so it came to my head about, the impact that social media has on how we view ourselves and the way we should look.
You're constantly comparing.
The way, literally the way you look can be distorted, I would say, by makeup, right? So I remember before it was thin lips or red lips, and
thin eyebrows,
then voluptuous lips, and then eyebrows. First it has to be thin arch eyebrows, and then it's bushy eyebrows, and then there's contouring, and your nose should look a certain way, and a certain type of makeup comes in, and a person can look different. Literally, makeup can change the way you look. You can look like a completely different person because of the way you've contoured your face or made your lips look and everything like that. And it's so fake. One of the things that
catfishing people.
And one of the things that I know is, I remember is people that get married, I hear it quite often, the brothers saying that I want to see a picture, or I want to see the sister when I meet her, that she's not wearing any makeup, because now people are realizing what makeup can actually do, and because you're just conforming to a way a person should look based on what social media, for example, tells you. You don't even look like who you are in reality. You literally change everything: your nose shape, your lips, your cheeks, everything, and just look like a completely
your
different
complexion,
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just absolutely crazy the way
Scary.
beauty standards define a person so much that they have to even change the way they've been created. Do you see, to match? One thing is that, you know, like what you're mentioning, it's actually, you know, it's meant to be like that this is liberating for the woman, where she can just dress how she wants and, you know, look however she wants and everything like that. But actually, if you think about it, it's very oppressive, because everything about yourself, your being, is dictated about how you look. So if you don't conform to a certain way of looking, then actually, you know, that's all that becomes, you know, and you feel like, oh my God, I don't look right, or I'm not the right size, I'm not the right height, I'm not the right weight, I'm not, you know, all these things, and you're like, you know, or my nose isn't right, or whatever it is, and you always want to just change. So you're never really happy with the way you are. You see, and that's so like problematic when you think about it, isn't it? And what sort of person that makes as well, like within yourself, and you're constantly thinking, I'm not right, I'm not how I should be. That is oppressive if you think about it, because
you have to look a certain
you have to look like that. Whereas, you know, alhamdulillah, the beauty of our deen is that Allah actually acknowledges that He's made us different, isn't it? He's made us in different colours and different shades and everything, and everyone's different. Yeah, and the fact that we have male and female and different, Allah says, isn't it? All of this is for us to actually know each other and find out about each other. It's meant to be a beautiful thing, whereas it's been made now that it's actually not a good thing, like because you don't conform. But this is actually meant to be the beautiful thing about Allah's creation, isn't it? That He's made different shapes and colours and sizes and everything like that. And that, you know, if we think about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He acknowledges the fact that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that a person can be beautiful to one person and another person can be beautiful to another person, because it's not about, conforming, it's about in your eyes what beauty is. But beyond that, then if we look at in Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah actually acknowledges even what is the thing that Allah finds the best is, He says that, Inna akramakum, indeed the most noble, the best of you, in the sight of Allah, is atqakum. They are the ones who are most taqwa. So Allah saying in that verse in Surah Al-Hujurat, He says He's made you differently, different tribes, different nations, different colours, different languages. But the reason is to know each other. But then He acknowledges, now that we have even acknowledged that, what do I want? I want you all to be the best in character. That's what makes the best person. And that is actually the most beautiful person, is the one that has beautified themselves in their character for the sake of Allah.
It's where your energy should go, isn't it?
And I find that's actually liberating, when you can free yourself from everything else and say, it doesn't matter the way I look. And when you actually do that, actually you embrace yourself the way you've been created, isn't it? And say, Allah's made me like that and I accept that. And in Allah's eyes, He's made me, He's created me. That means that He believes I'm beautiful the way He made me. Otherwise He wouldn't make me like this. But He's actually said, even though that I view you all as my creation, and I view that all my creation is perfect, still I want to see that the best of you in my sight is the one who has most taqwa. And that's what actually liberates you, because we can all compete in taqwa, isn't it? Like as Muslims, as believers, we believe that everybody can race and compete and try and become better in taqwa. Whereas when it comes to beauty standards, you can't compete. Like, you know, everyone's created so differently. You could try to conform, but even if you try, there's always going to be something wrong. It's still, she lost weight to become the perfect size 0, but she's still too, chubby here, or too this, that way, or whatever. Do you see?
Or
you could never fit in.
Exactly.
So you could never fit in. But if you look at it from the taqwa perspective, you can always fit in, because Allah has already defined for us what taqwa is as well. So as long as we're striving towards that, we can be the best in Allah's sight. And I actually find that the most liberating thing, even for myself. Like, I think this is one of the things that drew me to the deen as well, that nothing else matters. What matters is you and your relationship with Allah and what you're doing to become better in His sight. And it frees you from all the shackles that human beings put on you, in terms of whether that's beauty or any other standards.
Since Adam and Eve, peace be upon them, relationships have always been a catalyst for building our faith. So the real question is, are you being held back? Lack of willpower and negative relationships have shackled many of us. It cannot be emphasized how much our friends, family, and community can limit our horizons and prevent us uncovering our God-given potential. And so when we say Islam is a healing, are we learning Islam within a family context? Whether you plan to get married or are on the verge of divorce or want to level up your goals as a couple, the family program can be the turning point for everlasting relationships. Learn and cultivate thankfulness and forbearance mindsets to become a positive influence to yourself and others. Eventually, you will build a growth mindset that will leave you never looking back as you venture forward to a new life. The Family Program. Learn, heal, grow.
As women who have an affinity for beauty, what would you say is a woman's true self?
You know what you're saying about the true self? The true self is the servant of Allah, isn't it? Because Allah created us all and He made us to worship Him, as He's told us in the Quran, that is really our purpose. So when we actually return to that, that's our true self, isn't it? What Allah wanted for us, what He made us for us. And that's where the contentment actually comes from. Going back to, you could say your fitrah, isn't it? The way Allah made you, the nature that Allah made you in, which is to be His servant. And again, that is where the contentment and that feeling of liberation comes from, isn't it? Feeling like nothing else defines me, nothing else has tied me down apart from what I've been made to do. And I think, that's just alhamdulillah, a beautiful thing.
Is there any advice for sisters who are listening in regards to wanting to be beautiful and tabarruj in public spaces?
So on the family program, one of the modules I'm doing at the moment is the Quranic hijab, and we sort of come into this because it's part of a woman's nature. A woman is zina in herself. She's a beauty in herself. The way that Allah made her is that everything about her is beautiful, and He's made her in a way that a man is attracted to her. So she's a beauty in herself, and women love to beautify themselves as well. So this isn't something that we can deny. We can't say no, you can't completely, that feeling within yourself that you want to beautify yourself or you want to adorn yourself, because you have that there, and that's how Allah actually created you. But it's about channeling it in the right way. So knowing that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said there's a remit for you in terms of if you want to beautify yourself, that's within the private space. So within your home, for your husband, for your mahrams, you're allowed to display your beauty. For your husband, you're allowed to get dressed up. You're allowed to wear makeup and beautify yourself. But when you're in public life, you see, when you're outside of your home, this is actually like a protected space. And in that space, there's certain criteria, there's certain rules that you have to conform to, and obviously that is the hijab, isn't it? For the Muslim woman, when she goes out, it's not just about herself, which is obviously part of it, because wearing the hijab is ibadah in itself. Like if you do it for His sake, there's reward in that. But it's also a protection for society as well. So when we look at it like that, we realize that it's not, like as in a woman doesn't ever get a chance to dress up and express her natural tendency to want to dress up and beautify herself and everything like that. But it's just within rules and regulations. And that's within anything. Like if we look at this society, there's rules and regulations about, how you're expected to be in public life, right? People in general are not allowed to just walk around naked, right? So there's rules and regulations about that. Same thing, Islam gives rules and regulations. So we accept that because we know for us as believers, Allah made us, and that to obey those are ibadah. But at the same time, Allah has allowed us within certain remits to express what is within us as well, the way He made us. And Allah acknowledges that. This is why He said, within your private life, this is the place where you have that privacy, where you can dress up, where you can wear makeup and wear nice clothes and wear perfume and everything. You see, and that's where where you can do it. Yeah. So
but that I think that would help remove the competition element that sometimes happens with women. They compare themselves constantly with others, whereas if you're doing it in a private space with your husband, you're not. Then when you're out in public, you're in a certain way. It kind of can reduce that competitiveness between women, I feel like, which
really
could
deep way of thinking forward of it like that.
because you're constantly comparing. That's a lot of the issues we're seeing in Western culture, isn't
and that's
it?
where it arises from, then, isn't
you're
it? Because
comparing.
that person's more beautiful than me,
they've got a
or
nicer
or that
whatever.
person's more slimmer than me, or like the way we've been made. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, if the son of Adam is given a mountain of gold, he's going to ask for a second, right? So, we don't appreciate even what Allah has given us in terms of beauty, right? We're always looking at, I want to be better, or you know, like the way we do usually comparison, like you're saying, like we look at that another person and say,
We like
well,
it.
they've got that thing that, oh, I would like, isn't it? Like, I would like to be like that size, or I would like eyes like this shape, or whatever it is, isn't it? We usually look at it like that. And it's a really good point you made, that it cuts out that sort of comparison thing. And usually you find, obviously, like when you wear makeup and stuff, the whole point is to enhance beauty, isn't it? So then
Don't
obviously
wear
other
makeup to look
men are
worse.
going to notice, but as well women are going to notice as well. So that's where the problems come in as well. So,
Funny. I think as well, aging, like if
You're not
you,
allowed to age now as well.
you're not allowed to age, because if you have this standard of beauty that's young and you have no wrinkles and you have whatever, your skin's all plump, and you kind of idolise this 20-year-old beauty that a lot of people do, and then that can be really hard as you get older, especially for women. Kind of, I feel like men are kind of allowed to grow, age better in Western culture. You have a silver fox for a man, but it's like you don't have that with a woman. And I think that those beauty standards, if you try to, that's what you're kind of aiming for your whole life. You can't do that as you get older. You're not going to look like that as you kind of get older. And I think that's where a lot of women then start having a lot of work done and to their face to make themselves look like they did 10 years ago.
you can't embrace the aging, isn't it? You feel like, well, I have to almost like stop time. And you see it like with celebrities and stuff. Oh, so-and-so actress she doesn't look her age, and they're like 65, 70, and they look like they're about 40. And you're like, you know, there's a lot of
It's not natural,
this.
do you know what I mean?
And they've like obviously gone through like procedures and stuff like you mentioned, just to try and keep that youthful look. But
then people their age will look at that and think, oh, why don't I look like that?
and
They're
it
more
makes
depressed
everybody
about that. It's
and then it means like, even, you know, for them, like they're paid to try and keep, like, you know, to keep up that standard. But then like a normal average person, they start trying to look up to them and think, well, I want to look like that too, and I'm like this. And then they end up also taking procedures. You know, there was recently about the like girls and Muslim women getting like fillers, lip fillers and stuff like that, because the big lips and all that stuff was in. So this is something that is constantly, even for us Muslims, even the Muslim, like for Muslims, they've been affected by this as well. And we need to be really careful as Muslim women, especially, of falling into these tricks, because it's from shaitan's tricks, isn't it? Like making us look in comparison and doing this, and then makes us fall into these sort of, I think part of that is like not accepting, actually, you're going to die and go back to Allah, isn't it? And when you try and like stop the aging process, or like, you know, just live up to a certain beauty standard, it's like you're trying to stop yourself almost like meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, isn't it? But we know this is inevitable. Even if you look a certain way, your body ultimately is going towards Allah. And so that's why we should actually focus on not just the way we look, but actually how do we appear to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What sort of character are we going back to, isn't it, with towards Him with, and what are our deeds that are going to go with us? Because at the end of the day, you know, the saying, beauty fades and dumb is forever, right? So beauty is going to fade. It's not going to go with you. The jism that you're in, the body that you're in right now, it's not going to go with you to the afterlife. You see, but the actions that you do, the morals and the manners that you have, they're going to go with you, isn't it? So these are the things that we want to actually prime and beautify and, you know, make the best.
That 7-step skin routine instead could be spent reading Quran or
7 steps towards Allah, isn't it? I think for me, I think it's bringing it back to like, who do we want to be at the end of it all? Because we know that even if we try and like beautify what's on the outside, that's all going to come to an end. Whether it comes to an end like with death, whether it comes to an end with like, it could be an illness or whatever it is, or that just, you know, something happens, that beauty is not going to be there forever. At some point it's going to end. And what is not going to end is our actions and what we can take with us to our graves. And this is the thing that we should try and beautify and enhance, because it's the everlasting thing. It's the thing that's going to go with us. Knowledge, Yeah, that, as you mentioned, knowledge that you actually use and then you pass to others. This is actually going to be something that's part of our continuing deeds as well. So that if we use it for the right, then inshallah this is something as well that we're providing for others and something that will carry on as well, inshallah.
Jazakumullah khairan to Katie and Mufti Nasima, and to you, the listeners, for listening to the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Since Adam and Eve, peace be upon them, relationships have always been a catalyst for building our faith. So the real question is, are you being held back? Lack of willpower and negative relationships have shackled many of us. It cannot be emphasized how much our friends, family and community can limit our horizons, prevent us uncovering our God-given potential. And so when we say Islam is a healing, are we learning Islam within a family context? Whether you plan to get married or on the verge of a divorce or want to level up your goals as a couple, the family program can be the turning point for everlasting relationships. Learn and cultivate thankfulness and forbearance mindsets to become a positive influence to yourself and others. Eventually, you will build a growth mindset that will leave you never looking back as you venture forward to a new life. The family program. Learn, heal, grow.